Hello class, today I'm going to give an outline of online academic training program. So here I'm going to start with writing different academic text. So we have different types of academic text that are being done in online academic writing, and the first one is essay writing. Under essay writing, we are going to look at the types of essays, where this module will cover the four main types of essays, namely we have argumentative essays, we have descriptive essays, we have expository essays, and lastly we have narrative essays. You will learn to distinguish between these formats and understand their purposes, as well as you will be able to apply appropriate writing techniques when you come to the end of this part in our training. Then next we're going to understand developing a strong thesis statement. In writing, thesis statement is very necessary, especially under the section of introduction. When writing essay in the introduction, you need to understand what is a thesis statement, how is it used, and how can you make it attractive. Therefore, under thesis statement, you are going to learn how to craft a clear and conscious thesis statement that effectively covers the central argument of your essay. This section will emphasize the importance of having a focused thesis and how it guides the direction of your writing. Under essay writing, we shall also have to cover and to understand how to support arguments within the evidence. Under supporting arguments and evidence in the essay, we will have to explore the strategies for gathering, analyzing, and interpreting evidence to support your thesis. This part of the module will cover the use of credible sources, how to cite them, and ways to ensure your arguments are persuasive and well supported. Therefore, under the first aspect of essay writing, it is good to understand those three parts, which is first, you need to understand what are the different types of essays. You need to understand how to develop a strong thesis statement, and you need to know how you can support your argument and come up with evidence that support your thesis statement. So the next part, under writing different academic text, we are going to look at the research papers. So after you have understood well how to write an essay, it's also good to know how to write research papers. So the first thing that we shall do under research papers, we are going to select a research topic. You have to understand how to come up with the best research topic, and by doing so, you'll gain insight into choosing a suitable and engaging research topic. This section will guide you on narrowing down broad subjects into specific manageable topics that are relevant and researchable. Under this, we are also going to do how to conduct a literature review. You need to understand the importance of literature review and how to conduct one effectively. You will learn to identify key studies in your field. You need to summarize those findings and identify gaps in the existing research. It's under literature review that you identify the gaps based on what have already been covered to form the topic of your research paper. Also under research papers, we are going to look at restructuring a research paper. How are you going to align your paper from introduction until the conclusion? This section will guide you through the standard structure of a research paper. And I've said the research paper starts with the introduction, we have literature review, we have methodology, you have the result section, you have the discussion, and you have the conclusion. So under this part on the restructuring of a research paper, you'll be able to get the tips that you need to be able to organize your content in a logical and coherent manner, making it a good research paper. So the third part that we are going to look at the writing styles or writing things that we are going to do is how to write reports and case study. So differences between reports and essay. You need to understand how are you going to restructure when you are given a report or a case study. How are you going to write it different from the one when you are given an essay? So you need to learn the key distinction between academic reports and essay, including differences in the purpose, structure, and writing style. Therefore, this section will clarify when to use each format. The next thing here is writing clear and objective reports. You need to discover techniques for writing reports that are clear, objective, and data-driven. This part of the module will focus on structuring reports in a way that present information logically and support decision making. Again, it's also good to know on how to analyze and present case study, because sometimes you are given case studies and you have to read the case study, internalize it, understand before you start answering that case study. Therefore, you need to understand how to conduct and present case studies, including identifying key issues, analyzing data that is given in that case study, and offering solution. Therefore, under this part, you will learn to present your findings in a structured and compelling manner. Therefore, so far we have covered how to write an essay, we have covered how to do a research paper, the third part is how to write reports and case study, and we have another part that is very common in academic writing, which is about writing annotated bibliography. So under this annotated bibliography, you need first to understand the purpose of annotated bibliographies and the format. How are they written? So under this module, you'll explain the role of annotated bibliography in academic research. You'll have to learn how to format entries correctly and understand their significance in providing an essential summary and evaluation for each source. The next thing that we will need to cover under annotated bibliography is how to understand and summarize your sources in a very effective way through evaluating them. You need to develop skills in summarizing the key arguments of the sources and critically evaluating their relevance, accuracy, and credibility. Therefore, this section will focus on how to present this information in unconscious and the best way possible, because so many writers or students don't understand how to write annotated bibliography in the most effective manner, where maybe some just write it like a summary, but that is not the case. You need to understand the first part is you can summarize, but you need to evaluate this source, you need to critique it, and you need to provide evidence based from those, the article that are given or the article that you are using to write the annotated bibliography. After we have covered annotated bibliography, we'll then now move to reflective writing. So most students or assignments under reflection are given. We have course reflection assignment and we have skill reflection assignment. So you need to understand personal reflection and critical thinking. We'll explore the element of reflective writing, which include how to engage in personal reflection and connect it with critical thinking, because under reflection writing, in most cases, the analytical part is very relevant. Yes, you are reflecting, then how are you analyzing and connecting it to the course resources, or how are you connecting it with the case studies, or how are you connecting it with the theories? That's why now the part of critical thinking comes in. Therefore, this section will guide you on how to effectively integrate these parts or your reflection or your personal reflection with the existing theories, models, and case studies. On the same way, we are going to look on how to restructure a reflective essay. And here we have different models that are used. Maybe an example here can be Gibbs reflection model. So Gibbs reflection model has specific elements that must be followed when writing that reflection. So it's good you familiarize yourself well with the model that you are going to use, so that it guides you on how to structure it. After we have finished that, we shall now looking at on how to link personal experience with the theoretical concept. Because now this is a reflection, you are reflecting on your experiences. But in science, or if you want to make it valid, it's good to connect that life experience with the existing theories, what we call theoretical concept. So this part of the module will help you to articulate how personal experiences can be connected with academic theories and concept, which will help in enhancing the depth and quality of your reflection writing. So from there, I think we should have covered all the types of writings that we shall do. And when we finish that, we shall move to the online writing resources resources that we use for online writing, and these one are best to enhance academic writing skills. The first resources that we shall look at is digital tools for writing. So digital tools for writing that we normally use, we have grammar and plagiarism checker, we have reference management tools, and we have writing platforms. Under grammar and plagiarism checker, we will learn about various digital tools that can improve your writing by checking grammar, syntax, and originality. This section will introduce tools like Grammarly, that is used to check your grammar and ensure that it's effective, and Tantin, that will help in identifying plagiarism or to detect AI if it was used in the writing. So this part will help us how to use those tools effectively. After you have understood that, we shall move to reference management tools. Here you will have to discover how to manage your references efficiently with the tools, and this part will cover how to organize, how to share, or how to cite the reference. So you need to understand that a reference management tool, you have different databases. We shall use different databases, and we shall try to illustrate how such databases are effective. We have databases that are very effective in nursing assignments. We have some that are very best in maybe management assignment, and we have some that are best for universal purposes. So we shall look at all different those databases and how can you get or allocate an effective article that you can use to do your discussion or an assignment. After you have done that, we are going to look at the writing platforms. We have different writing platforms that are being used, starting from the Microsoft Word, which is the common that you'll use maybe for typing. You need to understand, like we have some equations that you are doing a discussion that require you to write an equation. You must be familiar with the Word document to understand how can you write an equation on that. We also have those AI tools that are being used in writing, so you need to understand them, understand their shortcomings, understand how can you use them to upgrade your work, but don't rely on them solely because they have their challenges. After we have done that, we are going now also to look at the online libraries and databases. This is where now you can get the articles that you are going to use or support your arguments and evidences in your essay or in your research paper or any writing work that you are doing. So we are going to understand on accessing scholarly articles and books. This section will guide you on how to access and navigate online libraries and academic databases, because you must be familiar that when you are doing a certain assignment, which is the best databases that you can get articles to give you valid and a very essential information. So you learn how to find peer-reviewed journals, books, and other scholarly materials that are relevant to your research. We'll also learn on how to utilize open access resources. On the articles, we have some articles that are restricted. You must pay or you must buy before you use, and maybe you don't have that money, but you need to read. So we are also going to explain for you to understand which articles or how can you going to get free access resources. So you'll understand the importance and availability of open access resources, and this part will cover how to identify and use free academic content legally and ethically, which is very essential. After I've completed that, we are also going to cover the evaluation of credibility of online sources. Not all online sources are essential or valid. So you need to understand those characteristics of a good article that you can use in your writing. Therefore, you learn to critically assess the reliability of online sources, and this section will provide criteria for evaluating credibility, relevance, and authority of digital information. After we've completed that, we'll now move to the last part. We have the last part of academic writing, which is discussion forums and peer review. Under discussion forums is where students discuss, they post their argument there, then it's for other colleagues to come and read and respond on them. Therefore, this one is dealing with engaging in online writing communities, to explore the benefit of participating in online writing communities and forums. Therefore, this section will cover how to contribute effectively in discussion forum, how can you benefit best in the peer review feedback that you are getting, and how are you going to provide the best feedback to understand the role of peer review in improving your writing. Therefore, you will learn how to give and receive constructive feedback in academic setting. In this part, you also have the critique section, but you need to understand on how can you critique it positively. And therefore, for today, I think that is the outline. Now, going forward, I'm going to now deal with each part separately until we finish this program. Thank you.